if you're not using I would start immediately. I asked it, if you were the devil, what would you do to stop someone from being successful? Said I would, number one, fill their mind with doubt and fear. Number two, I would surround you with negative people and influences. Number three, basically, I would give you a victim mentality, make you blame everybody else. Number four, I would keep you comfortable so you didn't actually get uncomfortable, because the more uncomfortable you get, eventually it pushes you to take whatever action you need.
When I had Brad on the podcast, how many of you have watched the podcast with me and Brad Lea that we did? Okay, you really need to watch that. There was a subset of that interview where we got into where he chat GPT'd, if I were the devil, what would I do? And that got millions of views. So
it started a whole thing. Now I see it all over social media.
So walk us back through that for the people who didn't see it, right?
Yeah, well, again, number one, if you're not using I would start immediately. Okay, AI will make you smarter. It's literally all the experts you ever need right in your phone. So I'm using it all the time. And I asked it, if you were the devil, what would you do to stop someone from being successful? And it basically said I would, number one, fill their mind with doubt and fear, right? Which we all get that. Number two, I would surround you with negative people and influences. Number three, and I don't remember them all now, but number three, basically, I would give you a victim mentality, make you blame everybody else. Number four, I would keep you comfortable so you didn't actually, get uncomfortable, because the more uncomfortable you get, eventually it pushes you to take whatever action you need. Especially when it comes to getting in shape. Dude, you can be fat for your whole life, and when someone finally gets tired of it, boom, they go get in shape, then they get in shape, and then guess what? They end up fat again, like me, 100 times. And it's because, once you get in shape, you're like, you know what? Man, maybe I can have a donut. I'm looking pretty good. Next thing you know, you slide back. And the reason, I think, is because deep down, you don't think you deserve whatever it is that it is subconsciously. And because it's subconscious, which is below awareness, you're not really even aware of what you're doing. But what you're doing is you're keeping yourself where you think you belong, and so like I tell people, you can't outperform your own self-image. So if you want to raise your net worth, you got to raise your self-worth, and to do that, dude, you got to do the work. You got to win a lot, win every single day, all day long. Like I've been winning all day. I win every day, all day, because I consider little things wins. Working out, which isn't freaking hard to do. You just move your body. That's a win. Brushing my teeth's a win. Drinking water's a win. Playing with my kid for a minute's a win. Like I just consider those wins. So I'm winning all day long, and I'm acknowledging win, 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 win. Pretty soon I'm walking taller. I'm feeling better. My energy's better. I'm a winner, and winners win, and losers lose. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'm gonna make $1 million, and you come in at 900 grand, you're like, someone goes, oh, that's pretty good. Well, again, technically that's a loss. I don't know if you played sports before, but that's a loss. And subconsciously, you lied to yourself, you came in short, and it's like, damn, what do I gotta do? Well, again, just shift your perspective and start figuring, wins or lower your goal. Like people say, well, dude, I've never heard anyone say that. Well, again, to me, I want to win. I don't want to lose. So I know I can do 30 minutes on a treadmill. So that's a win for me. And I just walk, by the way. I don't like that sweaty shit. You know that just walking is good for you? Not only that, intermittent fasting. If anybody's trying to lose weight, I'm telling you what, intermittent fasting. Pick a 6-hour window, eat whatever you want. Don't eat other than that window, and you'll be amazed what happens. And I think cellularly, it like replenishes, kicks out cancerous cells. It's like unbelievable. And it's in the Bible, coincidentally.
That's right.
So fasting, believe it or not. Yep. I just started intermittent fasting, and just boom, it all came off. and I wasn't even working out very hard. But still, it just boils down to decisions.
So at some point, you started building a brand, and now you're in how many different verticals? How many different things?
Quite a few. I have a financial services company because I like recurring revenue, and I want to get paid over and over and over. So financial services, merchant services, solar, training and consulting. What else? Lightspeed software training. What else? Huh? That's financial services. Thanks, honey. But yeah, what? What?
I said, used to have RVs.
Yeah, that didn't work.
RV business.
Yeah, I bought RV dealerships. So I have a podcast that does about $6 million a year in revenue, which is like, that's just freaking talking on a microphone.
Yeah.
There's more. I don't know. I'm in the love business.
So basically, how did you choose those companies? Because I am a client of yours on a couple different fronts, but the merchant services, and we had a terrible experience with Stripe, and I highly recommend not using them. And I just said, who can do this better? And I just called Brad one day, and we started using his merchant services. I got better customer service. I got somebody that helps chargebacks. It's been an overall way better experience.
Yeah,
and it was better for my company.
Well, I just identify problems that people are having that I can solve. And so like if you pay processing fees, raise your hand if you pay processing fees. Yeah, do you guys realize you don't have to pay them anymore?
Yeah. No, we don't.
Yeah, so you just call Real Merchant Services and fill out the little form, and someone will call you, and pretty soon you won't be paying them. There's 0 processing fees. People don't know that. So again, I just realized everyone's paying processing fees. Stripe just shuts your account down. Stripe says, hey, we're going to hold half your money for 6 months. And it's like, what? That's my money. Well, again, not anymore. So I just saw problems. And I also, it's recurring. So every account I get, I just keep getting paid.
Yeah.
From the thing you've been, like, he pays me every month. He just doesn't realize it. But at the end of the day, I like recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is ideal. Most people think on the back of the headrest in my car it says RR, and they're thinking that's Rolls Royce, but it's recurring revenue.
Well, this is a true story, and I want to save anybody this problem. Is I woke up the day after my conference a few years ago, and Stripe had initiated. Listen to what I'm about to tell you: $350,000 of refunds to people that we did not initiate. Okay, so I'm on a high. We have a conference. I wake up the next day, and I get this email that said Stripe's initiated these refunds, and someone had hacked that account and went in and literally, and Stripe just went along with it. No verification, no nothing. They refunded $350,000, and then they held that money for about 6 months while they did an investigation. They held $350,000. Okay, now imagine me going back to my customer saying, hey, Stripe made this mistake. I need to get that money back from you because it's really been refunded for you. And you didn't even ask for the refund. Okay, and this was my horror story with Stripe. Is it lasted 6 months, and only to find out at the very end, the investigation said they thought somebody internally on my team had done it, which we didn't believe, right? And so that was the straw that broke the camel's back with me when I said, look, this is over. I'm never doing business with you guys again. And we went to Real Merchant Services, and it was a way better experience. But how many horror stories out there are like that about Stripe, where they held your money?
And just try to get them on the phone.
And if you read in the fine print, now if you read in the fine print when you sign those contracts, they actually can do a lot of these things. So you can't really fight them because it's like, hey, we reserve the right to do this. We reserve the right to do this. So you just got to be really careful.
Because a real processing company, it's not as easy as Stripe is. So Stripe will open an account real quick because they know they can take your money or do whatever they want. So they'll open you an account where, like, most people don't want to actually apply for a real merchant account. But when you get a real merchant account, they don't do that. And they don't, like, hold money because, you know, they approve you correctly. Takes a little bit more work, but by the time you're done, you know, you're golden.
So how many of you would, if you're using that, would consider going over to Reel after hearing this.
Yeah.
Now, let me make sure I got my affiliate deal in place before we do this, okay? Just joking.
Type in Bert in the discount code.
Okay, all right. So we're coming down the questions, and we're gonna allow you guys to ask some questions here in just a second. But to be honest with you, I've shared stages with some of the best people in the world, and at the end of the day, I really think one of the realest people is this guy, real friend, real business guy, the real deal. Okay, and anytime I've ever asked him to do anything for me, he's done it. It's never been, oh, I can't do it, or I'm too famous to do it, or it's like, hey, man, I need you to come help me get this greatness factory going. Like, he said, like, what can I do to help you with this greatness factory? And I said, man, I just need you to come, and I think people would show up to hear what you got to say. He's like, I'm there. I'm doing it for you. So, you see a lot of people that's one way that's not really that way. And I don't feel that way about Brad. I feel like what you see is what you get, man. And I appreciate that about you. Okay?
You're welcome. Hey, that's the way to be.
Welcome to the Big Table Podcast, hosted by me, Coach Michael Burt. I'm here at the Greatness Factory, and this is one show for your business leaders and entrepreneurs who've already experienced success, but know, deep down, there's another level. There's a bigger table, and you're going to want a seat at that table. Each episode breaks down the path to greater influence, greater impact, and yes, greater income. You'll hear from top performers who've earned their seat and gained powerful strategies to activate you, activate your business, and activate your wealth. If you're ready to secure your seat at the big table, then you're in the right place. All right, let's take some questions from the audience, okay? We got some microphones. There's Good Time Tommy D over there.
That's right.
Let's get this man a microphone, and let's take a few questions from the audience. There you go, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy
Mike's got the
Davidson.
mic.
Mike got the
Good
mic.
Time Tommy Davidson. Y'all give it a hand for the Good Time Tommy Davidson. over
Good
there.
time.
Oh, man.
Probably 3 or 4 years ago, me and you were riding around, Brad, in that little monster truck you had, and you said, I'm about to blow up. I didn't ask questions, but you said, dude, I'm about to get really, really big. And I wish I would ask, well, what are you going to do? So if you were going to move forward from 2025 to 2028, what would you be doing right now today to blow up again if you were unknown? Or how you were at that time?
I would do what I'm about to do because I'm about to blow up. I'd be more prolific. Again, if one viral video is what you're trying to do, and you have a chance to go viral every time you post one, would you have more chances if you post 2? Yep. What about if you post 3? What about if you post 4? And then start playing with the formats. So I got a show that I'm about to do called Trending, and the reason is because people look for trending shit. So they will type in, what's trending? Well, that's the name of my show, so it'll pull up. And then I'll be talking about trending topics in the show. So anything that's trending that you look for, I'll be talking about, so I'll pull up. And I'll just start whacking the algorithm, number 1. Number 2, I'm showing people how to get in what I call the position to receive commission. So I started that Real Training. So Real Training, if someone's not making a couple $100,000 and they want to, I'll train them and I'll give them the job. Because sometimes you're in the right position, you're just selling the wrong thing. So high ticket, let's say. So I'll give them the job, and I've already produced 300 or 400 of those people that are now out doing the job. So I'm going to tell them all as part of their training that every time I post, I want you to comment and share. So if everyone in this room right now took out your phone and commented and shared on any of my posts, the algorithm would go apeshit, because that's how it works. So if you guys just all took out your phone every time I posted, shared it and commented on it, it'll just blast me through the atmosphere. Who's heard of Andrew Tate? Yeah, that's all he did, is he had a bunch of minions that he was training, and he told them, hey, clip these clips and go, clippers. It started a whole industry. And that's how he blew up. Like, he didn't even have an account. And he blew up big, like huge, bigger than, I'd say, anybody. Like they were trying to put him in jail for trafficking. They should have put his ass in jail for murder. He murdered the algorithm. But he beat it, and it still works. But how do you get 1,000 people to go like and tag your shit all the time?
Yeah.
So again, I'm producing people in a volume, so I'm going to have them doing that on a regular basis, and then I'm just going to just produce more. You know, you just want to put it all out there. People think there's too much, but there really isn't. There really isn't. You should be posting as many times a day as you can. Various formats. Maybe you don't like my podcast. Well, what else am I putting out there? Nothing. Well, then you only have one thing to like. So let me try something else, and let me try something else. So I built a new studio in my offices. It's a streaming studio. It's like I could do a news show. I could do anything there, and it streams. I think streaming's the next biggest thing. All you gotta do is look and see what your kids are watching. And my kids are just watching streams. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna do it with consistency. A lot of people start, and after a week it doesn't work, so they quit, which isn't the way to do it. I had to post for like 2 straight years before anything kind of started happening. And Lightspeed, like I had to go out there for 8 years before anything started happening. So I'm just going to do that over and over. So if I were you guys and you wanted to do it, number one, I would start posting 3 to 4 times a day on 6 different channels minimum, just who you are, what you do, and keep it real. You know, what do you do? Let me see you do it. You know, if I've had people say, yeah, but I don't do anything. That's the problem. Like, why don't you do something? You know, take some action, do something. If you're in real estate, you know, go out there. People are like, well, there's all kinds of people doing that. Oh yeah, you're right. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'd say who? And they start telling me people. Well, how do you know them? Well, because I see them. Well, no shit. That's how you get seeing them. But you have to put it out there with volume. And then again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to the variety, you know, more long form. Right now, social media, it seems like I tapped out. Like, damn, I've been at 1.3 on Instagram for like a year.
Yep.
2.7 on TikTok. And I looked the other day, see if I was growing there, and I'm 2.6. I'm like, shit, I'm tapped out. So I'm going to try other things.
Yeah.
New formats, new shows, you know, trending topics. Like, people want my opinion on various things.
Yeah.
So political things, conspiracy shit, anything. And I'm just going to put it out there. And you guys will start seeing it eventually, because all my army is going to be putting me in the algorithm, so you'll see me.
Well, I think the big thing there is a consistency, right? And just, you know, even when you don't feel like doing it, I always tell people I don't feel like doing the morning videos. I do. Very seldom do I feel like doing it. I don't feel like sending a message out. We send a message out to about 500 people every morning, about 3 minutes from me, straight to their phone. I don't always feel like doing that. But over a period of time, that builds a reputational capital. Now, I was telling Brad backstage, we're raising about $1 million a day for our Blue Marlin Capital Fund right now that's investing in data centers. And people are asking me, how are you raising that much money that fast? And I said, well, it wasn't that fast. It was really 15 or 20 years of me showing up every day. And over that period of time, people knew they can trust me. Like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to work. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And when they see that, when you have these opportunities, then you can say, hey, step over here. Like Brad has got these different verticals. He could say, if you don't like this door, come in this door. But he's consistent with dropping bombs. He's consistent with posting. He's consistent. And so think of it as like one post is like throwing a pebble in the Pacific Ocean. Like you need a consistency every day. Even when you don't have anything to say something, right? It's like get on there and have a point of view. And
that's what's important.
Yeah, and just really cultivate a point of view. And I think it was Kennedy who said, if you don't have a message that repels some people, you won't have a message that attracts the right people. So a boring vanilla message where everybody can like you is not where you want to go.
And everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
They want to make everybody happy. Yeah, it doesn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. So be bold. Be bold in your beliefs. Be bold in what you stand for. and know that some will and some won't, and so what? And you're only looking for people that are looking for you anyway, right? That's what you're doing. But the consistency is the number one thing that I see people don't do.
And the people that don't like you, they're not buying shit anyway. Grant taught me that.
Yeah.
Because remember, Grant Cardone was posting non-stop. And I called him and I said, dude, you're going to hurt the money, bro. You're posting too much. And he said, I forget what he said, but he didn't stop. And sure enough, like, dude, I called him. I said, dude, I had to unfollow you. I can't hang another Cardone video. And he said, go ahead. You ain't buying nothing. Yeah, but he was correct. And
Yeah.
I remember we were in LA doing something and we walked out and we're walking out. This was before anybody really knew who he was. And a cop car like spun around in the middle of the street all quick and shit. And I thought, oh, dude, what the hell's going on? And they pulled up and they said, Uncle G. And he's like, hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? Yeah. And I'm like, damn, dude, he's getting like known. Then we flew somewhere and we went into a Starbucks and someone came up and they're like, dude, hey, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, yeah. So like he started getting recognized in like airports and coffee shops, and the police came around.
Yep.
And like I watched it, and that's really when he really started kind of popping. And it was like, and timing's also, part of it. But the other day, me and my wife were at the Post Malone concert, and this cop walks by and freaking starts like, I thought he was staring at her, and I'm like, babe, what do you got, fans? She said, no, I think he's looking at you. I said, he ain't looking at me. And then I got up there and he came over and he goes, hey, can I get a picture? Yeah. And I said, yeah.
Well, all right, so here's a famous test that I use. All right, here's a famous test that I use. And famous just means known, right? Means known, renowned, celebrated. That's what the word famous means. I know when a person is becoming famous when I'm in a city and I'm in an Uber and they say, what do you do? And I say, oh, I do this. I'm business guy, write books, whatever. And I say, do you listen to anybody? And they say, yeah, I like that Brad Lea dude. He's so real, right? And I hear that literally probably out of 10 Uber rides I'm in, they say, 3, 4, 5 say, I like that Brad Lea dude. And so that's how you're becoming.
How come you didn't tell me this?
Well, I'm telling you now, man. But
That's cool.
But the truth is, they tell me Cardone, I watch Cardone, or I watch Brad Lea, or they'll say David Goggins or somebody, and I'm like, there's this up and coming dude, man, named Bert. He's really good too. You need to be listening to him. Like, what about me, man? I'm like, you're in the car with me. But the truth is, that's how you become known. Now, when you become known, and we wrote a book called Person of Interest on this, what do you do with it? What do you have to invite people to? Where there's no invitation, there's no monetization, in my opinion. So you got to invite them to do something. Now Brad has all these companies. He can invite people to do things. And many of you have one thing to invite people to, right? I used to just have the coach, and now we got the capital funds. And now I got places you can rent or come to. And that's more things that you can do with me.